Hi, ladies. Good to see you, Diane. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Emily.
Hi
Thanks for jumping
guys.
on. This is great.
Yep, for sure. We're gonna get started in just a minute, everybody. We're just sharing this in a couple groups. My name is Emily Laubel. If we don't know each other, how you doing? And what is your name, Miss? Mrs. Down there with a big smile.
Hi, I am Diane Crothers. If you don't know me.
And Sherry Underwood. We are
Hello, I'm Sherry
live on Sherry's page.
Underwood.
Happy Labor Day, everybody out there. So we have something special for you right now. Um, if you're tuning into this, then make sure that you write in the comments, if this is live or on the replay, but also if you are not in our group. We're not doing these all the time on personal Facebook pages. Typically we do them in our group. If you would like, after you watch this to get in there, let us know in the comments so Sherry can make sure that you go into Frequency Revolution and check out what it is that we're doing. So are we in Frequency Revolution
Yes,
now,
we
Sherry?
are. We're good to go.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Again, I'm Emily Laubel. This is Sherry Underwood and Diane Carruthers. We are coming to you live with something very inspirational that is changing people's lives around the world. And out of nowhere, it just fell into our laps, but it only fell into our laps because we were ready for it. We opened our hearts and we said, hey, creator, hey, higher power, hey, universe, whatever you say, we are ready for the thing that we've been looking for, even though we didn't necessarily know what we were looking for. So today we're going to talk a lot about the emotional body. And what I mean by that is our body is made up of emotions, right? And a lot of times our body and emotions are connected to our health, 100%, not a lot of times, but it is. So we're gonna really talk about the body and the emotions that we go through and how it affects the body and the mind when your emotions aren't positive, when you aren't feeling optimal. And a lot of times when you're not feeling optimal is because your emotional place or emotional state is not optimal, right? You might have different things that are holding you back. And so we're all going to just go around and discuss that a little bit, but we're going to connect this with something called Healy. Have you heard of Healy? Let us know in the comments if you've never heard of Healy, or if you have, awesome. But one thing that I want to shed light on is our bodies are full of layers, right? And when you begin to peel the layers, it takes time. So we know that in Western culture, a lot of times people will go somewhere and look for a quick, like, oh, this is wrong with me, doctor. Give me, a prescription to fix this, right? It doesn't fix you, but it puts like a Band-Aid over you. But when I think of the emotional body, I think of the layers that we have. So layers meaning like some of the thoughts that you think are from your parents, even if you have no connection to your parents, some of the thoughts that you think are from your parents, and especially negative ones. And you're like, how could I have these negative thoughts in my mind? Well, it's because they pass on through our genetics. Some of the thoughts that you might have could be from past relatives or ancestors. I always find it interesting when you hear about, some of the slavery that went on in the United States, and African American people sometimes can still feel some of those feelings from that past. And I don't know why I chose that example, but I guess kind of right now you see a lot of division in the world, and it's because people still hold on to these feelings. So we want to remind you, you don't have to hold on to them forever. Like you got to give yourself permission to shed them, to let them go. And we know that when we focus on the emotional body and we work on that, we can start to open our hearts more. So today we're going to share with you how we're opening our hearts, but then that's leading to other people and empowering them to open their hearts more, because we know, again, health starts at the cellular level, and you want to be emotionally sound. You want to feel your best, and it takes practice, right? It doesn't always happen overnight. Maybe your childhood, you've been carrying something around your neck like an albatross for most of your life, and you don't even know why. Maybe it's from an incident that happened in your childhood that you have completely forgotten about, or maybe you'll never remember. But those emotions stick in our bodies. So I just wanted to start off with that and give it to Sherry. Go
Okay,
ahead, Sherry. Tell us what you
fantastic.
want to share with us. Thank you.
Yeah, I have several things to share. So, but I'll start with myself and talk about doing with Healy, we can do a resonance analysis. And I did that on myself with my chakras, which I'm not very familiar with, to be honest. And what kept coming up was making peace with mother issues. And it was, another one was parenting, and because I failed as a parent. No, I did. I know I didn't, but I do have some guilt there. And but the making peace with my mother and emotionally how that is draining when you don't even know, you don't realize, like, I really didn't think I had anything that was holding me back or holding me down with my relationship with my mother. And then as I started to discover it and work on it, it's amazing how, because it was brought to my attention, I can recognize things that I do need to make peace with. And I think that'll be very life-changing for me. This is fairly new to me. I've only been involved with energy medicine for probably a year and a half. So it's not like I knew a lot about that. But anyway, so I'm excited to be able to have Healy tell me what I need to work on. I really am, because emotionally, there's things that I didn't even understand that were still in the back of my mind. We'll put it that way. How about you, Diane?
Okay, so I have two stories, and they're both about me. So yeah, I live in Santa Cruz, California, and we just had like horrendous fires, and we were a couple miles from the evacuation zone. So, and I had to work. I was going to work early one morning, and I was like super, super anxious, like just off the chart. So I scanned myself, and that's what came up. But I ran a program on myself on the way to work, and by the time I got to work, my nerves were like completely calm. Like I was just in a calm state. I was like, you could throw anything at me at that moment and I would have been like, okay, let's do it. So it was just for me, and I am an anxious person, like all the time, almost like but the Healy is working on me to keep me a little more even keeled, which for me is wonderful, because I know that being anxious, you're going to raise your cortisol levels, and raising your cortisol levels will lead to something else. And then that will lead to something else. And I mean, it could lead to cancer if I kept doing it and doing it and doing it all the time. So I know, and I can feel, I've had my Healy for about 3 weeks, and I've been running anxiety programs, and it's been helping tremendously, just tremendously. And then the other example I have is also with the chakras, because I did an aura scan, which will tell you all about your chakras and which ones are low energy. And my first one came up heart. And for me, I thought, well, that makes sense, because I'm a nurse. I just had worked 3 days in a row, like giving my heart and my soul to my work. I thought that makes sense. But no, when I read the description, it was not even that. It was a deep-rooted feeling that I've had for, I don't even know, like as long as I can remember. And it's the feeling of not being enough. I've struggled with that like my whole adult life, is not being enough. And I've gone to counseling and I've done all that. And I've gotten better at like accepting that I'm a good person and I do a lot for others and all, you know, and that fills me up, but it also is that underlying, you know, feeling of not being enough. And so the cool thing was that week, my friend, she does yoga online, and she does the kind of yin yoga, which is holding poses for longer periods of time. And she adds affirmations and works on certain chakras at the same time. And of course, we were working on the heart chakra. So we were holding all these poses while saying these heart chakra affirmations. And I re-scanned my aura after that class, and my heart chakra was like 95%, which is amazing. I just thought that was super, super cool. What about you, Emily? Do you have any stories you want to share with us about your experiences with Healy?
Yeah, so those are really amazing, both of those stories. So I just want to remind everybody too that these are our own individual stories. These aren't anybody else's. We are really heart-centered on working on ourselves, because we know that if we want to help other people, we have to be always helping ourselves. One of the major things I've learned as a yoga teacher, if I want to teach yoga, I have to be practicing all the time, and I have to be within that rhythm, because you can't share your knowledge if you're not practicing on yourself. So as far as I'm concerned with my emotional body, I've been working on, I would think, you know, I've really worked on my energy, and I feel like my energy is attached to my emotions. I notice that when my energy is low, my emotions feel like not balanced. And maybe that sounds weird, but for me, I've had energy issues, like I've had a thyroid imbalance, and then after I've had my kids, it's been harder for me to like, I guess, bounce back up in the afternoons, especially. So I tie my emotions to that energy, because I feel like almost like I can't do anything except for lay down at least for 20 minutes. And so what my body's been going through right now is, I was feeling like plenty of energy this summer. Like I've been doing great. But since I started using Healy, I'm peeling those layers. So I'm feeling like I'm going through some of the things that have been stuck and feeling tired again. But it's weird. This time I feel like, okay, I'm tired, but like this is just temporary, because I have a tool now that's helping me to make my transformation. Whereas before I always wondered, like, how am I ever going to get out of this? So my emotions feel more balanced, and I know that that's like the first step for me anyways. You know, like if I want my thyroid to heal, I know I need to have my emotions healed as well, because they're all connected, right? Everything's all connected. I suppose it could be in a different order though for somebody else, right? But just for me personally, this is the order that it's going, and it feels right. So I haven't been using a resonance scan though, because I haven't received mine yet. I just have my Healy. And so one thing that I think is really important for all of you out there watching is that it's really, really important to pay attention to what your body is telling you right now, and listen with intent. And if you know how to muscle test yourself, go ahead. I do muscle testing with swaying. Some people do it with their fingers, but look up muscle testing. That's a really great way to know whether you should run a program or not. And that has really helped me. I don't necessarily have to muscle test physically anymore. I can do it, a lot of it, in my mind now as well. I can feel which way I would sway just from practicing. So I feel like I'm on the right track, and I'm really excited. And it's great to have the support of Sherry and Diane, because they both are doing these resonance scans on me as well sometimes. And so then I can really see, like, yeah, I am on the right track. Like it's the same thing that our quantum sensor says within the Healy. Sherry?
Yeah, I'll add to that, because I met with a friend, and I won't use names, but she is a healer. She is a Reiki master, and deals with a lot of energy medicine and energy work and frequency. And one of the things that was interesting, she wanted to see what the Healy would pull up when we did a resonance analysis. And she was leaning toward, she had a mold issue. And so we thought mold, bacteria, things like that were going to come up. And what was very interesting, just like you just said, Emily, it's not always maybe what you think, but anxiety and depression came up for her. And she was like, yes, yes. So sometimes what we think is the major issue that's going on is not really, it digs deep and gets into the underlying issues. So yes, she does have an issue with bacteria and things like that, but she was actually very surprised and kind of excited that anxiety and depression came up, but that now we know that those are the things we can help her with, because once you can heal your emotions, then you can start to heal your body. So that was just mind-blowing to both of us, actually, that because we, of course, thought we knew what would come up on the analysis.
Yeah, and healing comes up on so many different levels too, right? I mean, talking about it, exercising, eating proper foods, surrounding yourself with people who love and care about you, giving your service to other people, and just being your soul, right? Not your ego.
Right.
That's what the biggest issue is with so many humans. They think their ego is who they are, but it really isn't.
Yeah. I wanted to add something to what Sherry was saying too about the like anxiety and depression that lowers your vibration in your body. And her thinking the bacteria and the mold were her issue was probably because her vibration was low, and that gave the bacteria and mold a chance to get in. So raising your vibration to a higher vibration helps with all your cells in fighting off bacteria and mold and sick and all that. So that's what I find fascinating, because it's just like, if you have healthy cells, then your body can actually repair itself. It can work on its own to get rid of what it needs to get rid of. Your body, that's the way your body is meant to work, with the white blood cells killing the bacteria and all of that. So I think that is just amazing as well. So I just had to add that.
Thank you. And I want to add something else because of raising your vibration. And this deals with actually a little boy. My nephew, I'm helping to homeschool, and I was running learning programs because he needs some learning support. And I will tell you that he said, my mom needs this, Aunt Sherry, my mom needs this, because he felt so much better. He was feeling confident. He was able to focus. He was he's in fourth grade. So, 4 or 5 years, 4 years, he's been struggling, and it gave him that confidence. And, just knowing that he was so excited to have that support. So it raised his vibration, which made him feel even better, and then made him be able to do all those processes even, on a higher scale. So it is amazing what that does to your emotions and raising those vibrations.
Yeah, and if you're just popping on, make sure you let us know in the comments if you're not in Frequency Revolution, if you'd like the link for that, so we can make sure that we get that to you. Diane, what experiences have you had, I know that you do lots of resonance scans on people. Like, what are some of the things that you've noticed that come up?
Well, so I did one on the other day, and it was a distance one. So she was in another location. And what came up for her, which, so little backstory, she said she's been going through menopause and she's been having just horrible like pain related to that. And so, I thought first thing off was going to be pain and menopause. But when we did the scan, first thing came up was eyes. And I told her, so it was like eyes, but then it was menopause and then pain. So it was kind of on the same track of what we were thinking. But the eyes thing came up and she's like, oh my God, I just told my husband this morning that I need new glasses. So yeah, so her eyes, there was something going on with her eyes, and her prescription isn't working as well. So it was it was pretty amazing. So I did some vibration on her, and she said after we were done, she said, I am like tingling right now, just full on tingling, like with vibration. It was cool to get that feedback. So yeah, pretty amazing.
Absolutely, very amazing. So when you both think about your emotional body, what have you noticed anything new come up for either of you that you've been like maybe not ever focused on or didn't even realize was there? Or you could pinpoint like, I felt like this and I never really knew what it was, but now I have a better understanding of what it is and now I'm ready to let it go. Have you had anything come up like that for either of you? Go
Well,
ahead, Diane.
so I've had something come up for me, but it's almost like I'm rebirthing it to let it go. Like, if that makes any sense? Like, about 2 months ago, maybe 3, when I was going to work, it was like everything just was irritating me. I was just like so not happy at my job, not because I don't love taking care of the babies I take care of, but because of the company I work for. It's just, they go against my moral grain, and it like was really hard for me to show up and be present for them, not for the babies. So I was really like not a happy person, like for a good month. And I worked through it with my spiritual counselor, and we worked through it, and I was in a good place. And then I started using the Healy, and like it kind of resurfaced for a week. And I recognized it as being just maybe detoxing, like getting rid of that for once and for all, getting rid of that feeling. And this week is better. This week has been better. So I'm hoping that that's what it is. It was just like one more like rinse of that kind of feeling, and then I'll be done with it because I don't want that feeling anymore.
And
I was just gonna say, I think though it's important to remember like every part of your transformation is important. And even if we want to like wish it away, we're still kind of attracting it to us. So it's better to just say like, I'm so thankful this is gone, and keep that thought, but also say to yourself like, well, I know what to do if you come back, but I'm not going to let you stay. I guess I think it's just important when we're doing any kind of transformation.
Yeah,
Sherry.
True. That's true.
I'll just say that I've been told that my aura is way out because I'm an empath and everything was way out, and to pull that in. And what I'm noticing is, especially with myself, I'm able to feel the energy. I haven't been able to do that prior to Healy. And I wanted to so badly because I do want to raise my vibration. I want to get my energy up. And that's been really cool. I don't want to say scary, different. It's been different, but I'm so excited. because I'm actually feeling it, and I've wanted to feel that. So yeah, that's energizing, and I just know it's working on so many levels.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's always wonderful to hear how other people are improving or feeling better, or you know what I mean, shedding those layers that I mentioned before. So those of you out there, like, think about your emotions and what might be attached to them. Because again, everything is attached to something, right? So you have a diagnosis from a doctor for something. Think about what emotions might be attached to that. It's amazing once you start to notice and pay attention, and then how you can start peeling those layers. Because I've talked about Louise Hay forever, but I'm going to mention her here too. But she always talks about that, like affirmations, like saying positive affirmations all the time to get rid of those blocks in our bodies. But I always think health is a cyclical thing. It's not just a one size fits all, or it's not just, oh, it's only got to be this. I think it's everything, right? It is the mind, it is the body, it is your whatever else you think, that your energy field. It really is. It's all of those things. So we're right now having a series on pain, emotional pain, right? Emotional pain can stop us dead in our tracks from moving forward. So can you share, like, either of you share anything more like surrounding that term emotional pain, and maybe how you've decided it's not going to be part of your lives anymore?
I will. Like I said, when I run my chakras, and mine always comes up throat. And it's basically that I say things and then regret them, which guilty, or I don't say what I truly want to say. And that was very emotionally enlightening to me. Just being able to stop myself from the emotional turmoil that I really am bringing on myself. And the fact that it brought that to my attention, it's just has been so awesome. I'm so happy and blessed that I can now notice that, and have my emotions in check, because I feel like a weight has been lifted, even though it kind of called me out on it, That's a good thing. It's a good thing. It really brought to light things that I have been holding back or being too open about for a this has been a long time. So I'm really, really happy that that I've been able to deal with that emotional, bring that all those emotions to light.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to say with that is, again, just the heart chakra, and this thing that I've been not dealing with, but that keeps coming up for me, is the fact that I am not enough. And I've actually, I mean, I really, it used to be really painful. I mean, I shed lots of tears over it. But now it, coming to light and just having it be there and be intentional with not believing it, like, because it's not true. I am enough. And I say I am enough, and move through my life through that with that affirmation, and just say I am enough, and I do enough, and I love enough, and all of that. So for me, that's what I've been doing. Is it's great that it came to light for me, and that it's feeling a different way right now. It's feeling more empowering. Like, I am empowered to believe that it's true, instead of, I used to be a victim and saying that, no, I'm not, like, in that whole victim versus empowerment kind of dynamics, is that you do have to take some control in what you believe. And for me, that's what kind of hit me on the head when that came up. I was like, oh my goodness, this is like hitting me on the head right now, and I need to like take responsibility for it and move on through my life with the empowerment and not the victimhood. So that's what I've done.
So you paired your affirmation with frequency medicine, like,
Yeah.
and that's exactly how we want to look at it, right? Like, because healing it's at the core of us, and sometimes we put all this other stuff on us, or we've let other people put their stuff on us, and then we forget, and maybe you thought you weren't enough because someone said something to you in nursing school one time, right? Who knows where it came from, but it can just fester, and it can build and build and build. So it's nice. It's like, it's a miracle, right? To just be able to shed that away, get rid of that energy block, so that you can let your gifts be presented to the world. When we have those energy blocks, it's hard to be who we truly are, right?
That's right.
Yes.
How about you,
So,
Emily? Have you experienced any kind of emotional experience with this that you'd like to share?
just making peace with the past. Earlier this year, I had told the universe, I was like, I just want to be surrounded by people that I want to be surrounded by. And a longtime friend, was just not living her life the way that I live mine, and wasn't being authentic with her family. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't care if we've been friends since we were 13. I can't hold on to this anymore. And then business relationship was like that as well. And I was like, oh, this is like a miracle that I'm acknowledging it and not accepting it. But what I held on to was like, I don't know I don't even know what term I would say that feeling was that I held on to. Just like, it was an internal feeling that I had for myself, maybe like or not regret. I'm not really sure what feeling that I had, but it was not a positive feeling. It was just a feeling that I wanted to get rid of, because, well, anytime a relationship doesn't work right, it's considered a failure. Maybe I was holding a little bit of that around.
Mm-hmm.
So just breaking through that, like, it's not a failure. Everything is a learning experience, and people come and go, and that's okay. And we don't need to allow people around us who don't serve other people and serve themselves. Like, they're not going to help you, you know what I mean? So I've definitely broke through that. Like, I don't feel that I've carried that around. I feel like I'm just in the rhythm. I'm not. A year ago, within the last year, within business, within online business, within online marketing, I was always like, oh, what's the next thing I'm supposed to be doing? I know this thing is going to die down. Like, because I have these intuitions about things. I know this is only temporary, like everything I did. And this is the first time I don't have that feeling. It feels really nice to feel settled, and I'm gone full circle, with holistic health, and with being around people and empowering other people, and empowers myself. Like, so I feel like I've broken through some of those sort of emotional feelings that have held me back. And I'm just, very grateful right now, and very grateful to, again, not look around. I just know what I need to do. The one thing I need to focus on, though, is making sure that I'm still doing it with my consistency. But I think that takes some practice, and it takes like talking to people and making sure you're within the right community, in the right tribe, around people that support you, other people that have similar vision and goals. And I feel like I have that with these ladies, and several other ladies within our community. So that makes a huge difference. So yeah, I'm just really grateful I still have some transforming to do, but overall, I'm in a really good, like, yes, always transforming.
We're always evolving, right? I feel.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add too that this is the first time um, in being on the online space for 3 years now, over 3 years, that this is the first time that I felt I am here to serve. I am blessed and I can bless others. So emotional healing. Other times, other businesses, I always felt a struggle. I felt a disconnect. I felt, like kind of like you were saying, Emily. And this is the first time, honestly, that I can truly, it deep in my heart, that I feel like I'm just a blessing. It doesn't matter. And so talk about emotional healing from past, things. Like now I know I'm here to serve, and that's just such a blessing.
Such a good feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Such a
It
good-
really is.
Yep.
So thank you so much, ladies. So what we're doing is this is a 3-day series. Tonight we're talking about emotional pain. Wednesday we're talking about mental pain. And then on Friday we're talking about physical pain. All those things are connected. But here's the thing that we all know, and this is what we're sharing with people, is that those pains can be lifted. Number one, it starts with setting the intention that you want it to be lifted, right? And number two is accepting that if the universe or your creator, whatever you think, brings something to you, that you take a deep look at it and see that this isn't a coincidence, that this is something worth looking at. So in this series, we're talking about these 3 topics because they're all connected, they're all important, and they all are, I think, for me personally, in my opinion, is that they are just placed with a Band-Aid over them. Here, take this prescription, take that one. And I don't agree with that. I mean, yes, some people might need something temporarily, but like, let's get to the root cause, right? Let's get to feeling again. Let's not mask our feelings. Let's not pretend they don't exist. Let's look at them. If they are painful, then work through them. So life is really important to be able to do that. There's all these younger people out there that are looking up to all the adults, right? So if we're not helping ourselves, how are we going to help all these other kids out there? So I think that's really important to examine and to look at. If you would like to, learn more about frequency and seeing how we're applying this to us and others are applying, again, let us know in the comments so that we can make sure that you're within our community and you can check that out. Anything to add, ladies, to this part of the call?
No, this is
Yes.
great. And I
So
hope you'll join us on Wednesday and Friday as well.
And thanks for joining us.
thank you. Yeah, it's great to be on here with both of you, and I appreciate your support and your kindness, and it's amazing to see both of you helping other people. Feels good to help other people, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yep. All right. Good night,
All right,
lady.
well, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks a lot for joining our live.
Thank you, Emily.